Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to tell the MediPrint story. My name is Dan Myers. I'm the CEO of MediPrint Ophthalmics. We're an ophthalmic pharmaceutical company based in San Diego. We're focused on treating ocular diseases and conditions with our proprietary technology, MediPrint printing process. I think we check a lot of boxes when it comes to startups. We've got an obvious unmet need that I'll discuss in just a moment, a pipeline of products, that'll be a theme as I go through this, strong IP, over 18 patents US and ex-US. We've just completed our FDA-mandated phase 2 trial, so we have now our human data, which really starts to help us understand where we're going in our phase 3. A team that's come together, I'll talk about a little later. I've had 39 years in ophthalmic pharmaceuticals, so I've been a bit fortunate to bring some teams together. We raised our seed round last year, $2.6 million. It was oversubscribed, and it was led by a global premier ophthalmic pharmaceutical company. So I think we've been validated early on in our start. I think any of you would recognize these slides. About every ophthalmologist or optometrist would agree with this. We're still trying to put drugs in the eye in the 21st century the way we've been doing it for 150 years. I think we all know that this is a compliance issue. Patients don't like putting drops. They run down their cheeks. They run down their nasal passage. Bioavailability is really only about 10%, so we're basically overdosing the patient to get just 10% of the drug to the site. And these drugs, of course, are done in aseptic filling, sterilized. They have to then be preserved because they're sitting on the counters at the drugstores and pharmacies. And so preservatives over time can create ocular toxicity, irritation at the least. And just again, there's got to be a better way. We think we've found that by taking our MediPrint technology and printing it on the surface of a contact lens. So you get the obvious advantage of 24/7 to release of the drug. We can print for 1 day, we can print for 7 days. It doesn't matter, whatever the particular disease and the chronicity of that disease requires. Doctors, of course, enjoy the fact that they don't have to worry about the lifestyle and the compliance of the patient. The patient is being compliant by simply having the lens on. And the fact that we don't have to hydrate these lenses, they're autoclave, we don't have preservatives. So none of the preservative issues that come with drops would be an issue with our MediPrint lens. So here's kind of the process in and of itself. The first pane is pretty important from a regulatory standpoint. We're printing FDA-approved compounds on an FDA-approved hydrogel lens that's recommended for anywhere up from 1 day to 7 days. And depending on the disease, that's how we print. Most compounds come in a powder, and in an aseptic filling or in an ophthalmic drop company, you take that powder, you formulate it into a liquid, you buffer it, you put the pH to it, you preserve it, all the things that keep the drop comfortable, and then you're off to aseptic filling. What we do is we take the powder and we turn it into a digitally printable ink. And we print that ink in layers on the surface of the contact lens. If you want a 1-day delivery for dry eye, so to speak, you'd print a certain, and these are micrograms, obviously. You'd print, you'd put a barrier, you'd print, you'd put a barrier. So if you want longer release, you have more barriers and more printing. So just think of it in terms of digitally printing layers. The real secret sauce here is in the way we print that layer and where we print the layer. Pane 4 and 5 is really a really good part of our story around the strategic opportunity for an M&A or someone who wants to get into the ophthalmic pharmaceutical business, but is currently manufacturing contact lenses. Our entire MediPrint technology takes about 12 feet in a clean room. And so you can imagine in a high-speed, millions and millions of lenses being made in a large contact lens company, our process can literally just plug and play and set right into the high-speed fill. So we think once we get through some of our clinical trials, we're a great opportunity for a strategic to come in and look at taking their contact lens manufacturing and getting into the pharmaceutical business. The key piece and what separates us from anyone else trying to do this is the far pane to the right with the check mark. We print only on the periphery of the lens. So think of it like a donut around the edge of the lens. And that's important because the center, the roughly 5 millimeters in the center of the lens, is called the optical zone. And that's where you do your corrections for lenses for vision correction. You put your powers, as they say, in that center. So we're not printing in any way that interferes with the optical quality of the lens. So the sweet spots you can imagine, you've got baby boomers who've been wearing lenses for 10, 20 years. They're getting into their 40s or 50s or 60s. They develop glaucoma. In the current world, they have to take their lenses out. They have to put the drops in, put the lenses back in. Obviously not an optimal way to do this. And many patients have to do that the rest of their lives. What we would then be able to say is you can keep wearing the same lens you've worn for vision correction, and this company, MediPrint Ophthalmics, simply prints the drug on the edge of your lens, and now you just keep going your way. Clearly a real opportunity for patients who are going to have these chronic diseases. Let me say right away, we don't see this for everyone. You're not going to see an 85-year-old glaucoma patient suddenly go from drops to contact lenses. But there's millions and millions of patients who are very familiar with contacts and are very comfortable, whether they're vision correction or just plain old lenses because they'd rather have the ability not to take the drops. The value proposition is probably pretty obvious for the patient. They get 24/7 delivery, no compliance issues, not the hassle of taking their lenses out or even using the drops at night. To the payers, quite frankly, we're pretty neutral. They don't really make or lose money because we priced our models that our lenses for a yearly basis cost about the same as the drops. So there's really no issue there for the payer. Maybe compliance, maybe better outcomes. That'll be seen in our clinical trials. The real win is for the eye care professional and primarily the optometrist. This will be marketed primarily to the optometrist. I don't think glaucoma specialists and MDs are going to want to learn how to fit contact lenses. But there's about 40,000 optometrists in this country who now in most states, almost all of them, can treat ocular eye disease and write prescriptions. And they like to do that. They want to become more involved in that. But the truth is they make literally zero money writing prescriptions, whether it be for glaucoma, dry eye, allergies. The pharmacy makes the money, the drug company makes the money, the managed care plan makes the money, the doctor makes nothing. We believe marketing this concept to optometrists who already know how to fit contact lenses, that's their revenue generator along with spectacles for the most part, and now they can actually treat ocular diseases in a better way than topical drops. And oh, by the way, they actually make money at it versus writing prescriptions. We think that'll be a big driver in the adoption of this opportunity. If you hear one thing I say today, remember that MediPrint Ophthalmics is not a healthcare lottery ticket. We are an emerging ophthalmic pharmaceutical company. Every one of these disease conditions, glaucoma, dry eye, allergy, post-cataract inflammation, even juvenile myopia, we have printed approved compounds on our lens for every one of these drug therapies. We're at various phases, obviously. We've raised our seed round money, proof of concept in some, phase 2 in others, and that's what we'll be moving on with our Series A round. So we've got multiple shots on goal and a lot of opportunities to hit milestones in the future and drive value. I've run pharma, this is my third startup. I've been doing ophthalmic P&Ls for about 25 years, and typically you see, a one product opportunity. If you start to roll these products up, in 5 to 6 years, we think we've got a $500 billion company plus, because these are very large markets. These are modest projections, I believe, and this is clearly a pharmaceutical P&L. Our cost of goods is very low, and we think the ASPs that we can reach would be very attractive. So we're looking to raise 5 to 10 million in our Series A. As I said, we raised 2.6 in the seed round to get ourselves through our phase 2A. The reason the range is between 5 or 10, we've had some people interested in funding through our phase 2. Others are more interested in funding into the phase 3 efficacy readout, and we haven't quite strategically decided which way would drive the most value. The use of funds, as you can see, is pretty obvious. The opportunities to exit are pretty good. If you look at ophthalmology in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been some really nice valuations, either through IPO or M&A. And as you can see there with the MediPrint line, we think for a very efficient use of funds, $20 million to get to phase 3 and see these kind of valuations and potential strategic alliances, M&A, or even potentially an IPO. I took a company through IPO in 2010, and I think this is a very good story as well. 39 years in the industry gives you a chance to know a lot of people. I've been very happy who we've been able to pull together. This is a team that probably has, well, doesn't probably, has over 150 years of optometric or ophthalmic experience. I think we sort of know what we're doing, and we know a good one when we see one, and I certainly think MediPrint Ophthalmics is going to be a great opportunity. Thank you.